Hello, I'm Mayor Kegan Schmicker here with our next episode of the Tipton Thrives podcast, and today I'm joined by Dylan Dietrick, Superintendent of our Municipal Services Department. Dylan, you joined us in November of 2024, new to this role. So I think first, let's talk a little bit about you. What is your background most recently before joining the city of Tipton?
Yeah, so before coming here, I worked for 8.5, 9 years with the Indiana Department of Transportation, Greenfield District.
Yeah,
I was a project supervisor, just managing multiple projects. Most recent was the railroad bridge on 31 over the railroad tracks.
yeah, so the actual overpass over the railroad, that was a project that you were leading or part of that project?
I was assistant manager on that project.
Very good. So then you have a connection to Tipton, though. So I think that was one of the positives of your application before joining us was that you already lived here, right?
Yep. No, I was actually born in Florida.
Okay.
Moved to Indiana when I was around 5, and then I spent most of my life here in Tipton.
Very good.
Moved to Georgia for a few years while I was in high school, and decided to come back.
Very good. Well, certainly we've been excited with you joining the team and have been impressed with some of the work already from the department. I think that's where we're going to transition to next is the municipal services, previously known as the street department. They're really like the catch-all of departments for the city of Tipton, and just want to explore a little bit of that with you because here we're getting ready to head into pool season, and you guys have been I think doing some heavy lifting at the pool, trying to get it ready for opening day. And usually by now we would have an opening day, but because of the cooler weather, that's kind of delayed us a little bit. But tell us maybe just briefly some of the responsibilities you guys help with on an annual basis with the pool.
Yeah, so we've had a pretty busy spring. First off, we spend hours and days pressure washing the pool, getting it cleaned up from the winter weather, the dirt. Getting a vac truck out here, vacuuming out all the leaves. And then once it's cleaned, then we still have to get the pumps running, hang the sunshades. We do a lot of work to get the pool going.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that effort, and I'm sure the kids of the town appreciate that too. So moving on to our next responsibility, I think this is sort of a weekly activity for you guys, but yard waste is a big responsibility, especially during what seems to be the spring and the fall, where we get a lot more of that debris. Certainly an activity that continues to grow and we try to manage, but we're trying to make some efforts, I'd say, to help make this a more efficient task because we do have a small crew and it's really quite easy for us to get behind and picking up whether it's leaves or yard debris, limbs, especially when storms come through. So what items are we typically collecting from homes in the alleys or along the sidewalks where alleys don't exist from folks?
Yeah, so we actually run yard waste 5 days a week. We're picking up anything from limbs to grass clippings to leaves, anything that's really sat out by the alley that we can pick up and take out to the recycle center.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things we're trying to work on is confining, and I think even our ordinance states that the items left, yard waste particular, should be in some kind of container, and just as a community, we've gotten away from that a little bit, and it's causing some downstream issues such as clogging some of the drains around town, and so we're trying to work on some solutions, you and I, on how do we address that. So with that comes, we just talked about the alleys, but like large item pickups. So previously, the city of Tipton used to just pick up trash in the alleys, and a couple of years ago, there was a change where we're going to start charging individuals to pick up that large item pickup. So can you briefly run me through what that process looks like? If an individual has a sofa or a mattress, how do they go about making sure that thing gets picked up in the alley?
Yeah, so for large item pickup, you would either come into the street department, 500 Green Street, or you can send a check in the mail to us or drop one off in our mailbox. And we'll get it either the next day or a couple days after. But we pick up anything besides construction material.
Okay.
Also refrigerators because they have Freon.
Sure.
We don't pick up those kind of items, but anything else, it's $35 for a dump truck load. It's not per item. So, anything up to a dump truck load, $35, and we'll come pick it up.
Really? So I'm cleaning out my garage, got a couple items, or maybe a lot of items. So long as they fit in the dump truck, $35 to haul it away. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Well, with, like I said, catch-all for the city of Tipton, but I think more specific to the responsibilities of your department includes road maintenance, road projects, and we've got a few going on right now. And I think probably the most obvious one is West Street. So give us a quick update. Where are we at with this project, and maybe some of the next couple steps as we head toward completion of that project?
Yeah, so on West Street, we just got the water main in, sanitized. The water test came back good. So this week we started putting in service lines.
Good.
We're working our way to Madison on all the service lines. The estimate for that work is 2 to 3 weeks, and all the service lines would be put in. Once the service lines are done, then we'll start digging out the roadway and getting ready for paving.
Very good. So that last part of the process seems like we've been waiting this entire project for it, but in truth, we had to do what was underground first and then work our way to the top surface. So you expect that building the roadway to last a couple weeks or another month, or what do you think? I mean, of course, all weather dependent, but
yeah, everyth's weather dependent, and that's kind of why this project's taken as long as it has with all the rain that we've gotten. But once the service lines are complete, I expect the subgrade treatment to take roughly a week, no more than 2 weeks, and then we'll get to paving and doing the multi-use path on the east side of the road. That shouldn't take more than a week itself.
Yeah, so going back to the roadway, this is truly going to be a reconstructed road. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not aware, certainly there's been a road that's been reconstructed in the city of Tipton previously, but this has probably got to be one of the very few that has been reconstructed. So this shouldn't, in theory, become the nicest street in the city of Tipton, because we are going to replace all that subgrade material and recompact it and then add a new layer on top.
Yeah.
So is that your estimation too?
Yeah, absolutely. With separating the sanitary and storm sewer, it'll be one of the best draining roads in the city of Tipton. Along with, it'll be one of the strongest roads that we have.
Very good. So we're doing a similar project, not exactly, but similar in some of the theories or strategies behind separating the sewer and stormwater on East Street, right? So we're trying to work on timelines and getting that pre-construction meeting scheduled. So tell us maybe briefly about that project. Of course, it's not known yet, timelines and such, because we're still working on that. But again, the strategies are the same, correct?
Yeah, correct. The next project, which hopefully will break ground late summer, early fall, it would be East Street, along with half a block on Independence, and then the connecting, Jackson Street?
Yep.
From East to Independence. Looks kind of like a backwards H, but we'll be doing the same thing. We'll be putting new storm sewer in, new roadway. The only difference is there will not be a multi-use path on that project. It'll just be concrete sidewalks like it is now.
Yeah. And again, with that, and that side of town, maybe more specifically, at least I've got pictures, and maybe you do too, from residents where the drainage is so bad that the water actually gets over the curbs in a heavy rain event. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that project drains after it's completed, because it does seem like these two southern quadrants of the city do have the worst drainage in the city of Tipton, because the other areas have been somewhat addressed already in the past. But again, the areas nearest the creek seem to struggle, and we're hopeful. I think that's the strategy here, is that this separation helps to improve that drainage in those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. And it will alleviate some of the water going to the water treatment plant itself.
Yep. Correct.
With a lot of the city being on a combined system, all that water goes out to the treatment plant, and then they have to treat it and do what they do. But separating it, we can get rid of the rain runoff compared to the sanitary.
Yeah. And so East Street, maybe different than West Street, where this was, one shot we got from Madison down to South Street. East Street's a little different, right? We think this is probably going to be at least 2 phases, could end up being 3 phases, because we're trying to get to Madison and Independence. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's going to be a multi-phase project, just with how expensive everything is. Mm-hmm. But we're also doing more than just one road. We're doing, Independence also, which is a pretty poorly draining road on the south end. Yep. With all this rain we've had, we've been out there multiple times cleaning those drains, keeping them clear, trying to get that area to drain and not flood. Yeah,
correct. So then there's another project that's happening in town, though it's not a city project, but NDOT on East 28. So they're going to have the road shut down for a brief period of time. But as I understand, they're waiting for school to let out. And in truth, maybe by the time this podcast airs, the work could actually be done. But that's another project where we're cooperating with NDOT, trying to be good partners and helpful in whatever way we can. But again, another project taking place. Do you suspect that would have been a project you may have worked on?
I think so. If I would have stayed with NDOT, that would have probably been one I would have been on.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all the questions I had for you. I think it's the work that the street department is doing for the city as it relates to yard waste and large item pickup, and then certainly the road maintenance. That we've been trying to be a little more strategic and not just doing the top surface of these roads, but thinking about what exists underneath and how we would just be more strategic in addressing those issues. So certainly, Dylan, I appreciate your leadership at the department and look forward to continued success with you.
Yep, thank you.
Well, thanks for tuning in for another podcast of the Tipton Thrives podcast. My name is Kegan Schmicker, Mayor of the City of Tipton, and joined today by Dylan Dietrick, Superintendent of Municipal Services Department.